When you hear the word attractive, what comes to mind? Most people imagine youth, smooth skin, a flat stomach, thick hair, because that's what the world has taught us, that beauty belongs to the young, and once you pass a certain age, you fade, you become invisible. But here's the truth, and it may surprise you. Attraction doesn't disappear with age, it evolves. And if you're over 65, you might be more attractive now than you've ever been, even if you don't see it. Because real attraction isn't loud. It's not about tight jeans or perfect makeup or the number of likes on a photo. It's about presence, energy, a quiet kind of confidence that whispers, I know who I am, I've lived, and I'm still here, fully, deeply, beautifully. Have you ever noticed how people lean in when you speak? How younger people soften around you, not out of pity, but respect? How your smile carries a warmth that younger faces haven't earned yet? That's not accidental. That's magnetic. There's a kind of beauty that only comes from having seen the world, from having loved, lost, laughed, and survived. It's the glow that comes from peace, not perfection. From wisdom, not worry. From a soul that has nothing left to prove, only everything left to give. Let me ask you something deeply personal. When was the last time you looked in the mirror and didn't immediately search for flaws? When was the last time you looked at your hands? Those hands that have held babies, made meals, buried loved ones, wiped tears, and thought, these hands are beautiful? Because they are. We've been trained not to see it, but others do. They notice the way your eyes light up when you talk about something you love. They notice how calm they feel in your presence. They notice how your laugh sounds like home. So no, you may not look like you did at 30, but you are not less. You are more radiant, more interesting, more magnetic in a way that can't be captured in a photo, only felt in a moment. If no one has told you this lately, let me be the one. You are still attractive, and the signs are there, whether you recognize them or not. You may not realize it, but if people naturally open up around you, if they tell you things they haven't told anyone else, if they sigh in relief just sitting beside you, if even strangers smile at you on the street, that's not just kindness. That's attraction of the highest kind. Because in a world that's always rushing, always loud, always judging, there's nothing more magnetic than someone who makes you feel safe. And chances are, that's you. You've lived through decades of noise. You've learned when to speak and when to listen. You don't interrupt. You don't compete. You don't try to impress. And in doing so, you've become someone who holds space. You don't realize it, but your presence tells people you can be real here. No need to pretend. No need to rush. That's rare. That's unforgettable. Beauty in your 60s and beyond isn't just in how you look. It's in how people feel when they're with you. You may not dress like you used to. You may not feel stylish anymore. But if people gravitate toward you, if they linger in conversation, if they call you just to hear your voice, it's not out of habit. It's because something about you makes them feel seen, not judged, held, not handled. That kind of comfort is rare, and it's beautiful. It comes from being human, from embracing your own imperfections so fully, others feel free to embrace theirs. And here's what no one tells you. Feeling safe is deeply attractive. Because people crave it. They don't want more polish. They want peace. And if your presence brings peace, if your voice brings calm, if your eyes carry softness, if your silence says I'm here, then you are irresistible in a way that no youth, no product, no fashion trend can match. That's not politeness. So next time someone sits a little closer to you, shares something personal, or simply smiles when they see you, don't brush it off. That's not politeness. That's connection. That's magnetic energy. That's you. There's something about the way you look at people now. That pause, that softness, that calm, unwavering gaze. It doesn't rush, it doesn't seek approval. It simply sees, and in doing so it draws people in. That's the second sign. Your eyes carry a magnetic depth that only time can create. When we're young, we rely on the surface. Flashing smiles, big gestures, loud laughter. We try so hard to be noticed, but with age, something shifts. You no longer need to take up space because your presence fills the room without asking permission. That's power. That's beauty. Your eyes now tell stories. They've seen birth, they've witnessed heartbreak. They've watched sunsets in silence. They've looked into the eyes of those you've loved and those you've lost. And that kind of seeing, that kind of knowing, gives your gaze a richness that no wrinkle can ever take away. People notice it. They may not say it aloud, but they feel it. You hold eye contact a little longer. You don't fidget. You're not looking for validation. You're giving presence. That's what makes others feel seen, drawn in, comforted, and yes, attracted. And it's not just your eyes, it's the way you carry yourself. You sit more fully in your own skin. You move with intention, not insecurity. You don't walk to impress. You walk to arrive. And when you laugh, your whole body joins in, because it's not a performance, it's real. That slow nod, that gentle tilt of the head, the way your hands rest calmly in your lap, that's not stiffness, that's sovereignty. You've stopped trying to be who the world wants you to be, and in doing so, your body language has become clear, steady, inviting. So if someone tells you, there's something about you, I don't know what it is, believe them. What they're noticing is your presence, your quiet authority, the beauty of someone who's lived and no longer needs to prove it. You may not think of your voice as something attractive, but let me tell you something most people don't realize until it's gone. Your voice carries decades of wisdom, warmth, and soul, and people feel it. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. You speak slower now, more deliberately. You pause, you breathe, you choose words with care, not because you're cautious, but because you've learned that words matter. That calm, grounded tone, that softness that doesn't need to shout to be heard, that's magnetic. When you tell a story, people lean in, not because it's dramatic, but because it's real. Because you're not performing, you're sharing. And in a world full of noise and speed, that's refreshing. You don't talk to fill silence, you speak to connect. And when you listen, you truly listen. You're not waiting for your turn to talk. You're not fixing. You're not judging. You're just there, with your eyes, your heart, your stillness. That makes people feel safe. That makes people feel wanted. That makes people want to be around you. Attractiveness isn't always about making heads turn. Sometimes it's about making someone feel like they can finally breathe. And your voice, your presence, does that. Have you noticed people coming to you with their worries? Do they say things like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, or you just have a calming effect? That's not coincidence. That's emotional gravity. That's you being a safe harbor in a world that's always stormy. And there's another layer to it. You've learned to say exactly what you mean, no more, no less. You don't flatter, you don't fake. But when you give a compliment, it lands because it's real. Because it comes from a place of lived truth. That kind of honesty, that quiet confidence, it's rare, it's radiant, it's deeply attractive. So don't underestimate it. Your voice may have softened with age, but its impact has grown louder. Your presence may be quieter, but it lingers longer. And that, my friend, is beauty. Not the kind you see in magazines, but the kind you feel long after the conversation ends. One of the most quietly powerful signs of true attractiveness after 65 is something you probably don't give yourself credit for. Your emotional wisdom. You've been through storms. You've said goodbyes you didn't want to say. You've held pain without letting it harden you. And somehow, you still choose kindness. That's not weakness. That's strength with soul. You know how to read the room. You can tell when someone's hurting, even if they're smiling. You sense the tension before words are spoken, and you respond not with judgment, but with presence. That ability, that emotional intuition, it's magnetic. Because in a world of shallow praise and fast advice, you offer something far more rare: compassion that's not loud, support that doesn't smother, encouragement that doesn't expect anything in return. People are drawn to you even if they don't know why. They feel safe to be messy around you, to be confused, to be human, because you're not trying to fix them. You just accept them. And that's deeply, deeply attractive. Let's be honest. It takes a certain kind of grace to reach this age without becoming bitter, without closing your heart, without letting the disappointments harden your smile. But you've done it. You've kept your heart soft, your eyes open, your spirit gentle. And because of that, others feel more human when they're around you. They feel enough. That's a rare gift, and it has nothing to do with looks. It's the way you say, "It's okay, I've been there," or "You're not alone." It's how you make space for others to breathe, without shrinking yourself. You are a mirror that doesn't judge, a soft place to land, a presence that whispers, "You're already enough, just as you are." If that's not beautiful, if that's not attractive, then we need to redefine what attraction means. Because what you offer, your empathy, your calm, your quiet strength, is what people crave. They don't always know how to say it, but they feel it, and they return to it, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. There's a kind of beauty that doesn't ask for attention, and yet, when it enters the room, people feel it. It doesn't wear designer clothes, it doesn't chase trends, it doesn't post daily updates seeking validation, it simply exists. Quiet, steady, real, and it inspires. That's you. You may not realize it, but someone out there is watching the way you live and finding courage because of it. They see how you carry yourself through the day, how you greet the world without bitterness, how you keep showing up with grace, with humor, with hope. They notice how you take your time, how you speak with care, how you laugh without apology, how you still find beauty in small things: a flower blooming, a warm cup of tea, a moment of silence. And something inside them softens. Something inside them whispers, "If they can still live with this much presence, maybe I can too." That's not just admirable, that's magnetic. You're not trying to lead, but you do, not with noise, but with example, not with ambition, but with authenticity. And people follow. Young people need that. They need to see someone who's aged, not with fear, but with fullness. Someone who didn't let the world steal their sparkle. Someone who didn't stop growing or laughing or loving just because the calendar turned. You are that someone. You are the proof that it's never too late to be real. Never too late to be joyful. Never too late to start again. And that glow people notice, that pull they can't explain, it's not about your body, it's about your being. It's about the fact that you wake up every day and still choose life. Fully, intentionally, beautifully. That kind of presence is rare and incredibly attractive. Here's something not often said out loud, but when it happens, it's one of the most powerful signs of attraction. You linger. Even after the room is quiet, even after the conversation ends, even after your chair is empty, people still feel you. They remember the way you looked at them without judgment. They remember the little stories you shared that made them feel seen. They remember your laughter, not loud, but warm. They remember how calm they felt when you were near. That's a sign, not of popularity, not of performance, but of presence. There's a gravity to your being now, a stillness that stays. You don't dominate the space, but somehow it feels different when you're not there. It's as if something gentle and grounding has been lifted. That is what attraction looks like in its highest form, when people feel better, more whole, just because they were around you, and they notice its absence. You don't need to be flashy. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to stand out in the way the world screams about. You just need to be you. And in doing so, you become the kind of person people remember not for what you wore or what you said, but for how you made them feel. So if someone texts you later just to say thank you, if they smile when your name is mentioned, if they say, "I feel better after talking to you," that's not a compliment. That's a sign. A sign that you still carry light, that your presence heals, that your energy is quietly, deeply, beautifully attractive, even if you don't realize it. And if you've forgotten, let me remind you one last time. You are still radiant. You are still magnetic. You are still, in all the ways that matter, deeply, undeniably attractive. At 65, at 70, at 90. Always. If you see yourself in these signs, leave a comment below. Share a moment when you realized you were still vibrant, still deeply attractive. And don't forget to subscribe to Golden Pathways for more videos in our journey of redefining beauty and aging.